Today I want to discuss two words with you and two concepts. One is oralism, and the other is speaking. It's a pathological, auditory type. You'll notice different responses to these. People might say deafness and oralism is a negative thing. Hearing people might say speaking English is best. You'll get a variation on what people have to say. You'll read different books on oralism that speak highly of one thing or say that the culture is awful. So you'll get a variation of different responses that speaking and being part of this world, the hearing world, is superior, that oralism is limiting, that sign language and deaf culture is not an equal thought or language process. You'll have some people say that if you're deaf and you try to speak, it's just wrong. Two very different groups, different theologies. You'll see some people grow up and speak and talk, and that's fine. You're hearing. That's good. You'll see deaf people sign, and that's good. Some deaf people kind of pick and choose some English words and incorporate it. They socialize a lot with hearing people, and that's fine too. I don't see anything wrong with this at all. It's fine. However, where does the problem lie? The point is, if you speak and you start seeing that or thinking that that is better because the majority is hearing and they speak and that they use that to communicate, or they'll say signing's okay, but out in the real world it's preferred to act as though you're hearing. And they try to fix and correct deafness as though it's something that's inferior. The hearing community looks down on deafness and deaf culture as something less than. And people need to understand that both of these concepts are connected and equal. If you grow up speaking and you enjoy communicating this way, there's no problem. But think about all the time and the practice it takes in speaking compared to the many hours that you use socializing, that deaf people really perfect their skills. And see the comparison of the two. Their signing skills decrease and they think less of it than they do before, and it becomes kind of an oppression. What we need to do is support deafness, and the way that you grow up and the way that you communicate is fine. This old way of thinking is a mistake. Don't think that signing's bad and you should only speak, and hearing world is the way to go. You have deaf people discuss different topics and say, oh, I don't want to interact with the deaf community, or they don't know how to sign. Whether you're hearing or you're deaf, no matter your mode of communication, it's important to discuss these different things. Sometimes you'll say, oh, they don't know how to speak, so we'll get an interpreter and put the interpreter in their place. Naturally, they see that over time, there is no problem if we just communicate openly. And many times hearing people, whether they're children or they socialize in different communities, that there is no problem. And they forget signing and they forget deaf culture and they kind of look down on it. And that is a problem that's rising, becoming more of an issue. You'll have very different viewpoints on oralism, but we should support this group of people. We should support anyone in any mode of communication, whether they be hearing, and realize that they're never any better than deaf, and deaf are no better than hearing. They're equal. They both have things to offer, and they're both ways of communicating. What we should do is incorporate both signing and hearing so that we can socialize. Some deaf people really refuse anything to do with English. Why is this a mistake? Realize that oralism